surprisingly enough, the Tuskegee experiment didn't end until 1972. And that ain't ancient history. That's a while back, but it ain't ancient history. So it's still in some folks' minds, obviously. But I think this is a different day, a different time. People weren't even thinking about black surgeon generals and things like that back then. Or at least we've had a few of those. But in each of the trials and everything that's going on, and not to mention the fact that you have, people with underlying health challenges are, dying at a higher rate as well. And of course, who was the front runner and with diabetes and high blood pressure and stuff like that is us. So, I mean, I know the feeling. There's a lot of folks out there that feel like damn if they do and damn if they don't. But I think in this particular case, and to Doc's point, it makes sense to give it another look, to give it another consideration as we try to do the right thing, because there's a whole lot of folk out there. Believe it or not, I got a coworker of mine. He went to visit somebody in Ohio, and he has a nephew there, and the nephew still has to go to school. He has a white fella came to school, classmate of his, came in sick, said, yeah, I got COVID-19, but my parents send me to school because they don't believe it. Now the nephew got caught COVID from this dude who came to school because his parents told him to go ahead, that stuff's not real. Wow. And that's the kind of ignorance that we're combating on top of this, because this is all still tied into the ridiculousness, some of the ridiculousness of the present, hopefully outgoing former occupant of 1600 who hadn't said a word about any of this in the middle of all of this stuff that's going on. But I don't expect much from him, but I'm glad to see that the transition team is working on it and moving in on it. But and folks like Doc are doing their part to go in, and we're trying to educate folks to kind of give this another look, because this thing is not slowing down. And Dr. Osterholm, who's on the Biden team coming in, says we're about to go into COVID hell in the next 3 to 4 months. Wow.
Right. We have a lot of questions too tonight, you guys.
Sure. Let's go with your questions.
The public is not aware of the side effects. Why aren't they being aware of the side effects that might come from them?
Doc, did you hear that question?
No. What did she say?
She was saying that the public is concerned about the side effects, and when are they going to also put the information out about the possible side effects of the vaccine?
Well, like I said, what usually happens in the development of a vaccine is they have about 7 to 10 years of experience of having inoculated people with the vaccine and watching them for side effects, so they could give you a side effect profile. In this particular situation, the vaccine has only been present for several months. So like a year, let's say a year. So nobody has had this vaccine for more than 1 year. So they can't really tell you what the long-term side effect is. They can tell you what they found in a year, which that's what they're going to do when they, put it out for the people to be inoculated. But they'll just be giving you several months of data, and they won't be able to tell you what happens in 2 or 3 years, and that's what we're all concerned about.
Sure.
But we got a pandemic here on our hands, so this is not the usual situation. So I think, everybody is going to have to evaluate their position on it and take it or not, but it's a very different scenario than we've ever had before.
Okay, that makes sense. But with the pandemic, we really don't know what the side effects from the COVID is going to bring about. So we have to worry about what the COVID's going to bring and the vaccination is going to bring.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. But like I said, we've never been faced with this before. So you have to understand that they can only tell you what they know. And the fear that I have is what you see a lot of times in these new cancer drugs and stuff. They know some of the side effects and won't tell you or won't tell us because they're going to stand to make hundreds of $millions if they don't tell us. And then they'll deal with the lawsuits afterwards, but they'll have the money in their pocket. And that's kind of a concern I have with this vaccine. That's why I wasn't going to take it. However, with this pandemic blazing, it's like, you're in front of a window and there's a fire behind you. You either face the fire or you jump, and that's the kind of situation we're in. And not many people are going to turn into the fire, I'll tell you that. So, and you just to stay on that windowsill, in that window so long before you got to make a decision. So that's the rock and the hard place we find ourselves between at this particular point in time.
So will each state have a choice of which vaccination they will get? Would they get all three and they get to choose when they go to get it, or which each state get a different vaccination?
Well, it depends on what the lawmakers, what the FDA decides to approve. If they approve 2 vaccines, then shortly you'll be able to, pick which one you want. If they, it's just so many variables. Like, the East Coast may get one vaccine and the West Coast may get another. So there's no way that anybody can tell you right now what you're going to have a choice of because it hasn't been decided yet, or at least they haven't told us what the decision is yet. So you may or may not have the option of choosing the vaccine you want, but I can tell you it won't make a difference because we don't know anything about either one. So, it's just a coin flip, and you just hope that they've done due diligence and, neither one of them hurts you bad is what, obviously we'd like to see, but no one can tell you which one to take. Like this one is better than this one because it just hasn't been enough time to test it.
So, right. Yeah, that's a huge decision. So it's affecting the Black population really strong. Is there anything that we should be doing other than staying at home?
Right now, the best advice that anybody has given in terms of this virus is to wear a mask and stay 6 feet away from people who aren't in your, in your little bubble. Anybody outside of that, you should be protecting yourself because the worst thing about this is a person can look absolutely normal, not coughing, not sneezing, nobody knows, and be spewing the virus all over the place. So that's why it's so important, not only for you to wear your mask, but insist on anybody around you wearing a mask. And that's what Fauci has been trying to tell us since the beginning when Trump was saying you don't even need a mask. But he's been saying that, they said that you're only protecting other people, but that was ridiculous. You're protecting yourself and you're protecting other people by wearing a mask. And if you're 6 feet away or you're away from people, it even makes it less likely that you're going to get the vaccine, that you're going to get the virus. But that's the best we can do so far. We don't have anything else that is proven or safe that we can recommend that you do. Wash your hands, stay 6 feet away and put that mask on is the best advice that's out there right now.
I remember.
So, go ahead.
I was early on. People were, and they probably, I don't know if people are still doing it as vigorously as they were, but I had friends who were taking their shoes off, before they came in the house, taking their clothes off and going right up to the shower. I don't know if people are still moving like that, or if it's that kind of thing again. But it looks like it's moving to that space. I don't know. I mean, it's enough to try to get people to keep a mask on. I'm actually kind of getting used to going around with a mask all the time.
Me too. I got my hair washed today with a mask on.
Yeah, so I'm like, never mind. Don't trim my beard up, man. Just go ahead and cut your hair. I'm gonna keep this mask on and put your mask up over your nose too. That's the other piece. You got people wearing masks over their eye, like an eye patch. I mean, people doing all kinds of ridiculous stuff. Got that hanging out, over their mouth, but not their nose. You hear mixed talk with people with the mask. People don't know. Some people don't know what kind of mask to get. Some have the ventilated mask where they got vent. Where they're still breathing out. But if it's not containing anything, if you're breathing out your air, you're still not helping somebody else. You may be okay, but you're not helping anybody else out. But it's a tough situation to be in. Yeah, I like that analogy. I don't like the analogy, but it really, I can visualize what you're saying. You got a fire behind you, and you got an open window in front of you. What are you going to do? I mean, the fire is going to kill you. But there's a chance that if you jump out the window, you might land on something soft or something. But it's a hell of a decision to have to make. But man, sheesh.
I have a writer in from Facebook who wants to know who will determine who gets the shot first, other than the medical, like the first line, the first defendants.
Yes, sir. Can you hear us, Doc?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Try your question again, Shannon.
Who would determine will get the?
I can only hear you though, Mike.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
You're going to have to repeat it. Yeah.
Yeah. Shannon said, who's going to determine who will get the shots first?
Yeah, after the medical
after the medical folks.
The government, the health department, and we don't know right now whether if it's going to be the governors of the state who decide. It probably won't be the federal government, but it'll probably be state and local government, and how the governors decide to distribute it in their states will probably be their decisions, hopefully, based on their, every state has public health officers, every city, has public health people in place. And I would imagine they would be the ones who determine, but no one knows that yet either, to be honest with you. There's no template for it. There's no, rules that you can go by. They're just going to have to try to figure it out the best way they can. And what that usually means for us is that we'll probably get it last, in our general communities. But, that's just how things, Beverly Hills is going to get it first, and then Compton and Watts to get it last, That's just how it goes.
And that's have they already indicated that's the way it's going to happen, or is that sort of a
no, they haven't. That's just 65 years of experience.
Wow.
But that doesn't mean I don't know that they may take it to the ghetto first.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
That just hasn't been what's happened historically.
Sure.
And so it may be all different. They may say, let's take it to Compton right now and give it to Beverly Hills later. I just can't see that happening, but they may. It's possible.
So, Doc, just knowing what you know about inoculations and so forth, approximately how long do you think it'll take to get the majority of the country inoculated? If they start, like they're talking at the end of the December, like they've been saying in the news.
Mike, you're talking about 350 million people.
Sure.
We don't have a delivery system that can handle that volume right now. So what we would have to do is try to develop a delivery system as we go. And no one's ever done it like in countries like India, they would have trucks going around and you just go to the truck and they just hit you, bam, bam, bam. They just go into communities. And they're going to have to come up with those because, you're not going to be able to have a facility where people go in there. Now, if